Good early morning, everybody. Meteorologist Matthew Hidalgo here, and we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect and even a tornado warning in effect. So taking a look at this right now, I know we're cutting in early this morning, so if you are jumping on the air here, this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for portions of Roberts, Gray, even Hemphill, and the northwest corner of Wheeler County. About $half size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds, but we're really focusing on this area down here for portions of Gray and Roberts County at the moment. I'm going to have to step off the screen here, but we're going to stay on the air with you, kind of looking at what we're seeing here on radar and everything like that. So the National Weather Service issued this tornado warning until about 5:15 a.m. Central Daylight Time for, again, portions of Roberts and even Gray County. Let's zoom down here just a little bit to get some of these other towns in the viewpoint and kind of see where we're seeing maybe some of that rotation occurring with the storm relative velocities. Nothing looks too apparent, just maybe some upper level rotation at the moment, but if I step back on screen here, we're likely looking right in this general area in the moment. But so moving about east, northeast a little bit, so folks here in Hoover, I hope I'm pronouncing these names correctly, Heaton, and then moving again in that northeast direction towards the Miami area. These folks in here may want to get in your safe space right now if you're just waking up with us. I know the weather does not want to quit for us here across the Panhandles and even eastern New Mexico, but that's where the area of rotation we're kind of looking at. Let's see where those hail cores are as well. Looks like that hail core is making its way into the Hoover area. We did get some reports earlier this morning of a little bit of that hail in Pampa, so we're keeping our eye on that. Again, it looks like mainly a hail and wind threat, but again, folks, we do have some of that upper level rotation, so we're keeping a close eye on it. It does look like that these storms are firing off along a cold front or even some sort of boundary there that's sitting across our area. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for portions for Lipscomb, Hemphill, and Wheeler counties until about 10 a.m. early this morning. We're seeing another storm develop right along that boundary just north of Pampa, and this may continue to kind of build backwards here across the Texas Panhandle. So we're going to continue to be tracking this here early this morning. Let's see if we got any words from the National Weather Service. Not recently. It does look like they upped that hail size to about 2-inch hail, which is about hen egg or even lime size hail, folks. But again, tornado warning if you're just joining in with us until 5:15 a.m. for portions of Roberts and Gray County. Again, we're looking at a little bit of an upper level rotation right now within the storm. Let's go back to that storm relative velocity and see if we can get a better viewpoint. Again, greens means that the wind's going towards the radar, and then again, reds means it's going away. So it's kind of hard to tell right now with this. Let's see if we get a better viewpoint from a different radar here real quick. That's not showing much. Let's see. Nope. So our best one is obviously the Amarillo radar, but again, they're seeing some upper level rotation within this storm, so we're keeping our eye on it. Again, folks in Hoover, Heaton, Codman, and towards the Miami area. This storm is heading in your general direction, very slow. Again, likely producing up to lime-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds at least. This is the general direction it is moving right now. Again, looking at some upper-level rotation within this storm, that's where we have that tornado warning that's in effect. Let me step onto this side of the screen for you so you can see those specs. Until 5:15 a.m. Central Daylight Time for, again, this is portions of Roberts and Gray County at the moment. It does look like we're seeing some of that upper level rotation within that storm. Let's go back to storm relative velocity as we're getting a couple more scans into the area here and see if we can see a little bit of a better viewpoint on this. Let's put this into time here real quick for you. See if we see anything. Nothing really that's screaming out to me that we are seeing a lot of that. Looks like we got another severe thunderstorm warning into effect. Again, these storms are bellowing up pretty quickly here, folks. Again, we got some of that initiation across that a boundary that's laying across the Texas Panhandle right now. So another severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for portions of Carson County, and that will remain until 5:30 in the morning. Let's see what the National Weather Service says. This will also include west central Gray County, 60-mile-per-hour winds and about 1.5-inch hail. That's about ping pong ball size hail associated with this, folks. But again, let's zoom back out real quick here. majority of us, again, especially the further west you go, staying fairly quiet, but we could see more of these storms develop. For folks down in Childress and Cottle counties, likely seeing or hearing some rumbles of thunder, seeing some lightning and some pockets of heavy rainfall. Those are not severe down there. Again, we're really keeping our eye. I don't know if you could see my cursor on the screen there, but we're really keeping our eye exactly where that line is of storms that are initiating across this line. I know our show started at 4:30 in the morning here, but with tornado warning on the ground, we're going to stay with you guys here just so we can keep an eye on this. It does look like that. Let's take a look at that hail core yet again real quick for you. So again, and let's pause this for you here. Looks like we're seeing some of that hail right around the Hoover area, maybe just south of Wayside. Again, right in here is where we're going to be seeing that hail. Again, seeing up to hen, egg, or even lime-size hail associated with this storm. But again, it's moving east-northeast at the moment. So folks in Wayside with that new scan right there, likely seeing a little bit of hail get into your region. But again, this is moving towards the general direction of Miami. So folks in Miami as well, make sure that you are paying attention to this and keeping our eye on this. That tornado warning, though, is in effect until 5:15. So we got some time when it comes to that. Let's see what's going on here. Let's put this into time, see if we can see anything. Again, not seeing anything too apparent on radar at the moment. Let's go back to reflectivity. Pause this into motion. It looks like that they're kind of seeing some general upward level rotation within this storm. Again, likely north of Pampa. So folks in Pampa, we're not really too worried about it at this moment. Let's see if we can see a different so what looks like they're looking at here, and let's see if we could put. So our Barron Tornado Index, that BTI at the bottom left of your screen, it's a 2.6. So that's about 26% probability that there would be a tornado on the ground at the moment. But here's some of those timings as it's continuing to move east-northeast in that direction. So folks in Codman, Hoover 4:45 a.m., Codman around 5:04 a.m. is when this is really going to get into your general area. But again, we are seeing some pretty good size hail associated with this storm. It does look like it's trying to wrap up on this back end, but I have a feeling the rotation that they're really keeping our eye on is within kind of the middle part of this storm. Does look like we're still seeing some more of those storms fire off behind it. So again, let's talk a little bit more about this while we wait on a new scan from the radar for that tornado warning. So again, severe thunderstorm warning in portions of Carson and western Gray County at the moment here. This severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until about 5:30 a.m. Again, about ping pong ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds for this. So folks in Skellytown, this is going to be reaching your direct general area here in just a little bit. Let's see if we could zoom down here just a little bit. White Deer, as far as the hail goes, let's take a look at where those hail cores are. That's where those hail cores are. It looks like just northeast of Able, and then again, kind of out in the middle of nowhere at the moment. So we're going to watch this as this storm continues to push east-northeast as we go throughout the morning hours here. Let's see if we got a new scan from the radar for this tornado warning. Again, it's really hard to tell. The further you get away from the radar, that's where we're taking slices higher up in the atmosphere. So right now it looks like, again, the general area that they're kind of looking at might be right in here for some of that upper level rotation associated with this storm. So again, north of Pampa at the moment, it looks like. But again, we're keeping our eye on this as it's not really picking this up very well at the moment. But folks within this polygon, just make sure you're keeping a close eye. It looks like it's trying to wrap up there on the southeast side of the storm. So folks in Hoover, Heaton, this would be your time to get into your safe place. Again, innermost portion of your house, likely a bathroom, closet, no exterior walls, no windows, and might want to take some blankets, pillows, anything you can to kind of protect your head, maybe even a helmet as well. But we're keeping our close eye on this storm. Does look like it's trying to wrap up there on that southern side. we're kind of keeping our eye on two general areas. One right about here kind of looks like it's trying to get that hook echo there, folks. And then, again, it does look like it's trying to redevelop back here. But with these storms, they like to cycle and, weaken a little bit, get their act together, and then reproduce. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this. Folks in the Pampa area, not expecting this rotation to really affect you at the moment. Again, radar isn't really picking up very well on where we're seeing that general rotation. Let's see if we can put this into time over the past 15 minutes. What are we looking at here? So I'm going to be sitting down. I'm still with you folks. I'm just sitting down looking at the radar here real quick, seeing if we can pick up exactly where we're trying to see. Looks like that general rotation is northeast of the Pampa area at the moment. So again, this is moving east-northeast. So folks in Hoover, again, Wayside, you're within this polygon. Codman, Miami, you're not in this polygon yet, but again, if this storm continues to hold its act together and make its way in that general direction, Miami, you would be in almost a direct line of this storm here. But that's still about a little bit of ways away. Likely seeing some rain in the Miami area, but again, hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and then that rotation. It does look like it's trying to get its act together here yet again. So again, folks, if you're just hopping on with us, I know it's a very early morning here. Tornado warning in effect until 5:15 a.m. for portions of Gray and even Roberts County. Seeing some little upper level rotation associated with this storm. Does look like it's trying to get its act together again. So we're gonna continue to kind of keep an eye on this storm as we go over the course of the next about 30-40 minutes. But it looks like this morning, though, those storms have been firing off along that line. So folks in Amarillo, if you are joining us, not much of anything going on right now, but northeast, again, that looks like that front is kind of lying right about here, and that's where we're seeing those kind of storms develop on, or initiate on, I should say. Let's see about the new scan that came in. Put this into motion here, see if we could see anything over the past. Yeah, it does look like if there's going to be rotation within this storm, it's going to be kind of within the center point between Wayside, Hoover, the Pampa area. Right in here is where we're kind of keeping our eye out here for some of that upper level rotation. But again, this storm is moving east and northeast. Again, it's saying about lime-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds, so you're waking up for your morning commute here, folks. And again, the weather just doesn't want to quit for us here early this morning. Does look like they updated that severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Carson and Western Gray. So let's back up here just a little bit. We did get an update with that. They did up the hail size within this storm. So this severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 5:30 a.m., folks. It is likely producing up to some golf ball size hail against 60-mile-per-hour winds. So pushing this way, so folks in Skellytown likely coming in your general direction here. Let's take a look at where that hail core is really sitting at the moment. Again, apologies if I'm mispronouncing some of these names, but Cargray, it looks like that hail core is just to the southwest or west of you guys. So again, expect some hail to be reaching town here probably in the next 10-15 minutes. Wayside, likely seeing a little bit of hail. Looks like that hail core went a little bit north of the Hoover area, but let's go back and see what that latest scan is. Yeah, it does look like it's trying to wrap up on that southern part of that storm. So folks, if you're just joining us, I'm going to hop back on screen here, just kind of look at the area we're kind of keeping our eye on. We're keeping our eye on right in this general area for some of that upper level rotation within that storm. So again, folks in Hoover, Heaton, this is your time. You might want to get in your safe space at the moment. Again, innermost portion of your house, no exterior walls, a bathroom, a closet, anywhere where you're protecting yourself, you're the innermost portion of your house. You might want to bring blankets, pillows, a helmet if you have it. This tornado warning is in effect for portions of Gray and Roberts County until at least 5:15 a.m. Let's see if we could zoom down here a little bit more, see kind of where we're looking at here. So County Road E, Benton Road, Spearman Road. That's where we're kind of seeing some of that rotation really occur early this morning. Right in this general area right here is where we're keeping our eye on, folks. So if you know any folks on the outskirts of Hoover, you may want to call them, wake them up if they're not already up, and just, looks like we got a new scan in here, and make sure that they're getting prepared to get into their safe spots pretty quickly here. Again, as far as the storm relative velocity goes, there it is. That's probably what we're looking at right about here, right between Hoover and the Heaton area. So especially on the north side of Heaton, folks in Heaton, make sure you are getting into your safe space right now. This is kind of the general area where we were talking about where we're keeping our eye on that. So right around Benton Road, 16 Road, that's where we kind of want to keep our eye on potential for the possibility for there to be a tornado on the ground associated with this storm. Let's see if the National Weather Service has said anything else. So it looks like they're going to continue the tornado warning until 5:15 for at least, and still hold on to those ping pong ball size hails what's associated with this storm. But again, folks, when we are looking at these storm relative velocities, we're looking at, again, where we see those winds kind of come together. Green means it's going towards the radar. These reds means it's going away from the radar. So that's where you're going to see that kind of couplet form, and that's where we could see some of that rotation within the storm. So this general area, again, right along Benton Road here, 16 Road, D Road. Again, if you know any folks out there, this is just about, on the south side of Hoover. So folks in Hoover, just make sure you are staying in your safe place as well, because again, this is pretty close to your general area at the moment. Because again, this storm's moving east-northeast, so we might be able to see it. It might shift here just a little bit, but there you go. It's kind of a good pronounced hook echo at the moment. Right in here, folks. That's where we're keeping our eye. Right in there. Usually when we see signatures like this, it means stuff's trying the rotation's trying to wrap up. And again, the storm relative velocity didn't show a whole lot. It was still kind of a little bit on the broader side, but we're keeping a close eye on this. But definitely just on the south side of Hoover at the moment. So this could be a very dangerous situation, folks. So make sure you are taking your needed precautions, getting in your safe place. But this is the area of the storm that we are keeping our eye on. The storm is also warned for ping pong ball size hail, or excuse me, not ping pong ball size hail, about lime size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So folks in Pampa, it looks like they trimmed that warning down a little bit. You are not in danger of this tornado as of now. The recent scans and it pushing east-northeast northeast, excuse me, has brought you out of that polygon. But still in effect until 5:15 a.m. for portions of Gray and even Roberts County. So again, folks in Hoover, this is your time right now. Get in your safe space. And again, this is going towards the Codman area. Miami, you are not in this polygon at the moment. But if this storm can continue to hold its strength, then we could be talking about your area here in just a little bit. So if you're just waking up with us, folks, looks like it could be a bit of a busy morning here as you're getting ready to head out the door. But it does look like we're still seeing those storms initiate along that front here the further west you go. And they've been developing pretty quickly. So this storm on the backside is also in effect until 5:30 a.m. for portions of Carson, the western portion of Gray County at the moment. Again, they're expecting ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds associated with this storm. But we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Lipscomb, Hemp Hill, and even Wheeler County until 10 a.m., folks. So could be a bit of a busy morning here, but we're going to be staying with you, especially with the tornado warning on the tornado warning in effect, folks. Again, this is not a confirmed tornado. So if you're worried about that, it's not confirmed, but again, it's the early morning hours. It's still dark out there, so we aren't going to be able to get a good visual on the ground, at least, especially with a lot of this rainfall. So again, this is radar indicated. What we're seeing is some upper level rotation associated with this storm. But again, when you see rotation in the storm, you got to take it seriously, and we could potentially have a tornado on the ground here. So again, folks in Hoover, make sure you're still sitting in your safe spots. We're waiting on the next updates from the radar here. Let's see if we go back to storm relative velocity. Ooh, that looks like that's a pretty tight couplet right there. Let's see if we see anything on correlation coefficient. Okay, it does look like we saw a little bit of a drop with the correlation coefficient. So folks in Hoover, make sure you are in your safe spaces right now, because it looks like this is trying to spin up here again. That's the area we're kind of keeping our eye on. Let me circle that for you, folks. So folks in Hoover, make sure you are in your safe space. Again, I know you're probably just waking up with us here. Waiting on that next scan here real quick, see if we can get a better viewpoint. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to wrap up again. That's what these storms like to do. They'll kind of spin up here a bit, and then they'll try and reorganize. Looks like we just got a new scan in there, but we're looking in this general area right here, folks. So again, folks in Hoover, still don't get out of your safe spaces just yet. Folks in Codman, this is heading in your general direction. Now it's your time to get into your safe space. Again, Miami, not in the polygon as of right now, but again, over the course of the next 30 minutes, if this storm continues to hold its strength, then we will be talking about your area here pretty shortly. Looks like it may be trying to reorganize here, folks, so we're going to keep a close eye on this. We're sticking with you. Does look like it weakened here just a little bit, but again, like I was saying earlier, these storms they like to recycle. Okay, so what we mean by that is we'll see them strengthen, then we'll see them try and get their act together, and it kind of looks like that, could be in the clear, but we're not in the clear just yet, folks, because then we could see it try and wrap up again, and then that's when we have to worry yet again. But again, this tornado warning is still in effect until 5:15 a.m., folks. Again, this does not include the Pampa area. Pampa, you have been cleared out of the polygon for the tornado warning. This is now making its way through the Hoover area. Heaton, it does look like that apparent area of rotation we're keeping our eye on is north of your region. But again, between Hoover and Heaton, if you do know anybody out there, just make sure you're calling them, trying to get them up, get them in their safe spaces. Folks in Codman, this is heading your general direction. Wayside, even though you are in the polygon, again, this is a bit further southeast of your region. And again, these are moving in that east-northeast direction. Let's take while we wait on another scan to come through, let's take a kind of a viewpoint of the whole entire region here. So again, we have some of these storms early this morning initiating across a front boundary right along here across the Texas Panhandle here, folks. So again, this southernmost storm that is warned for about ping pong ball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Then we have this line of storms right here that's going through the Pampa, Miami, Canadian area. They're saying up to about hen egg, lime size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. We do have that tornado warning. Again, we are keeping our eye on that area of rotation. Folks in Hoover, still make sure you're in your safe spots. But the majority of us, especially the further west you go, staying fairly quiet and over into portions of eastern New Mexico, the western portion of the Texas and Oklahoma Panhandle, you're sitting fairly quiet. Now, these showers and storms down here in portions of Childress and Cottle County, they are not severe, likely waking up to some rumbles of thunder, lightning, and some pockets of heavier rainfall, especially right around the Paducah area at the moment. These counties shaded in this yellowish color, so Lipscomb, Hemp Hill, and even Wheeler County, that's a severe thunderstorm watch. Now, that's in effect until 10 a.m. So again, we could still see these storms kind of hold their punch as we go over the course of the next couple of hours. But they're moving fairly slow at the moment. Let's zoom back down, see if we got a new radar scan. I'm not seeing no apparent hook echo at this exact moment. So let's see if the National Weather Service has said anything. They continued. Oh, that was a bit of ways ago. So yes, still in effect until 5:15 a.m. So folks in Hoover, make sure you're still in your safe spots. Let's see where we're kind of seeing that general area of rotation. Again, nothing too apparent from here, but if we were going to say that there was rotation in this storm, let me hop back on screen here so I can show you exactly kind of the general area right in here. So again, maybe now a little bit further northeast of Hoover, but still, folks in Hoover, make sure you're staying in your safe spots. You're likely, again, some heavy rain, maybe even a little bit of hail associated with this storm. Folks in Heaton, again, it does look like this has pushed north of your area. Again, Wayside, we're not really keeping our eye on you for that area of rotation, as it looks like it's more in this general area right near the Hoover area. But again, further northeast, Codman, this could be heading towards your direction. So now's your time to be getting into your safe spaces. Again, Miami, you're not in this tornado-warned polygon here, but as this storm continues to develop east-northeast, we could be talking about you folks in here in just a little bit. Looks like we could be seeing some hail well north of the Wayside area. See when we're going to get that next. It looks like we got that next scan in there, so it looks like it might be trying to spin up here just a little bit again. Again, storm relative velocities have been having a tough time picking this up. So, folks in the Hoover area, still make sure you're in your safe spots, but it does look like we could be seeing a little bit of a kink, especially when you get a line of storms like this. It's not a general supercell, but again, when you get a line of storms, you're looking for these tiny little kinks here within those lines of storms. That's where we're seeing that kind of spin associated with it. So that's where we're kind of keeping our eye on. But folks in Hoover, I wouldn't get out of your safe spots just yet. So folks, I know you're joining us early this morning. If you're just waking up, again, we do have a tornado warning in effect for portions of Roberts and Gray County early this morning. But we do have some storms firing off along the front on the back side of this. So again, right now, Amarillo area fairly quiet. We do have some of those storms northeast of your region. Again, hail and wind threat for that severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for portions of Carson and the western portion of Gray County right in there. Again, up to ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So if you are going to be having to head out the door for your morning commute here very shortly, may want to hold off just a little bit until we see these storms try to weaken here, hopefully within the course of the next hour or so. Again, we have about 17 more minutes on that tornado warning at least. We'll see if they want to continue it, the National Weather Service. But folks in Pampa, you should be in the clear from that tornado warning now. Again, you guys are not directly in that polygon. Does look like it might have weakened just a little bit, but again, especially with lines of storms, folks, we're not looking at that. We could see a general hook echo associated with it, but as these storms continue to kind of maneuver together here and create that linear line, then we're talking more about we're keeping our eye on some kinks within those lines of storms. That's where we would see some of that rotation generally. So folks in Hoover, still make sure you're in your safe spot right now. Again, Miami, we're going to see here in at least the next about 10 to 15 minutes if we're going to continue this tornado warning. Likely, if we do, then folks in Miami, you will be within that polygon as these storms are moving east-northeast at the moment. But right now, folks in Hoover, make sure you're still in your safe spots. Codman, make sure you're getting to your safe spots now. Again, it does look like this general area of rotation is going to be heading into your region here, probably within the next 20, maybe 30 minutes max. But again, this storm is moving east-northeast at the moment. Heaton looks like you're in the clear as of right now. Again, looks like this is right around the Hoover area. Wayside, you're in that polygon, but does look like it's well southeast of your region. Sorry, folks, if you hear me get quiet here for a second, just trying to read some stuff from the National Weather Service, any reports they're getting in. It's been a busy past couple of days, folks, for us, especially the end of last week where we saw a lot of tornado warnings, got a couple of confirmed tornadoes, so that's why we're taking this ever most seriously to make sure that you guys are staying safe out there, bringing you the latest information. Kind of waiting on that next scan to come through here. No word from the National Weather Service if they're going to extend this just yet. So yeah, you can kind of see there right around the Hoover area. Again, we talk about those greens and reds. It looks like right around this general area is where we were seeing that rotation. But again, as we've been taking this through time here over the past 15 minutes, it does look like a push to maybe a little bit further north here. Maybe the storm is trying to reorganize and see if it could try and spin up here just a little bit again, folks. Still moving in that northeast direction. So folks in Codman, Hoover area, still be staying in your safe spots. I'm going to pause this, go back to reflectivity, because again, with these linear lines of storms that we typically see along a front or a boundary, we kind of look more, instead of just that hook echo, we kind of look more for those little kinks within that storm. But it does look like it's trying to potentially maybe wrap up right along in here. Oh, it looks like we got a new scan. Okay, that new scan doesn't really show much of a hook echo or that kink that we're really talking about. So that could be some good news here. Let's see if there's anything apparent on the storm relative velocity. Maybe ever so slightly just still about just north of the Hoover area is where we're kind of keeping our eye on, it looks like. Again, folks in Hoover, make sure you're still in your safe spots. We're keeping our eye on this very closely. We've got about 12 more minutes. Let's see if the National Weather Service. So at 5:01 a.m., still seeing some evidence of that rotation. Yep, that's what we're kind of seeing too. Kind of on the broader side. Again, it's not too apparent on those velocities, but it does look like a new area may also be developing. They're going to continue the tornado warning for at least right now. Let's kind of see where they're keeping their eye on rotation. Looks like maybe back on the south side of this storm. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like on the back end of this storm. So hang on, folks. Let's see what. So again, reports are coming into the National Weather Service. About 1.5-inch hail reported in the Pampa area here, folks. Again, 1.5-inch hail is right on that ping pong ball size mark. So again, if you're waking up here, getting ready to head out the door, just make sure that you are being safe, maybe leaving yourself extra time, not heading out the door just yet. Does look like the storm's trying to reorganize here. Let's see where we're going to see that next area of rotation. But the tornado warning is still in effect, folks. So again, folks in Hoover, Codman area, still make sure you're in your safe spots for this moment. Hopefully we see these storms trying to weaken here. That a lot of times that'll happen. We'll see them pulse up and get strong and then kind of weaken here and almost choke themselves out. So that's what we're keeping our eye on. Let's wait for that next scan to come through. Now, another area of rotation that what they were likely talking about and keeping their eye on is probably a bit further to the west here. Because again, these storms like to recycle and then get their act together. And then that's when we talk about, we see those other areas of rotation develop. Likely we're keeping our eye on a little bit of a kink right here near just east of the Skellytown area. So again, they haven't issued anything for this just yet, but we're keeping a close eye on that. If we see that rotation kind of tighten up here over the next couple of scans, we'll likely see a warning come out. But for right now, we're just keeping a close eye on this area. Still that tornado warning in effect till 5:15 a.m. at least, folks. They're still seeing some of that rotation within that polygon portions of Roberts and even Gray County at the moment. Okay, so it says they are going to let the tornado warning expire here. So it looks like that it has weakened quite a bit. Those last couple of scans, they were a little bit broader. So again, the further away you are from the radar, that's where we're seeing that's where we're seeing it cut through the atmosphere at a higher level there, folks. But again, they are going to let this tornado warning expire here, likely at 5:15. They're probably going to let it run out here in its entirety. But folks in Hoover, Codman area, just might want to wait another about 5 minutes before you get out of your safe spaces. But we're still keeping our eye on other areas of rotation. But especially if we see this tornado warning expire and no other tornado warnings are going to be issued at the moment, we're likely going to get you back to the main show here and kind of still stay up to date with you with updates throughout the show as we go throughout the morning hours here through daybreak. But likely we're going to see in the next couple of minutes when they're going to let this thing expire. Likely they're going to let it stay in its entirety until 5:15. But again, that's what these storms, they like to strengthen, weaken here a bit, try to get their act together and strengthen again. So we're going to be watching this here, folks. But hang on. We're going to stay with you until this at least expires. But just to kind of talk a little bit more about what we're seeing here if you're just joining us. So we do have that severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30 a.m. for portions of Roberts, Gray, Hemphill, and the northwest corner of Wheeler County. Again, these storms, that storm especially, the one that has the tornado warning associated with it, at one point at least they were saying about up to lime-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Now, these storms on the back end here, north of the Panhandle area in portions of Gray and Carson County, those were likely producing about ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. But it does look like, as of right now, the further west you go is where we're seeing those conditions more quiet, as we're not seeing any more new initiation along that front or boundary early this morning. Does look like they're weakening quite a bit. Let's zoom down here, take a kind of more regional look of these storms and kind of put this through time here. Yeah, it does look like they're shrinking here just a little bit, which is, again, good news, folks. We're going to stay with you here in just a second. Still keeping our eye on that area of rotation, folks. But again, National Weather Service, and kind of what we're seeing as well, we've been seeing this kind of weaken and get a little bit more on the broader side here. So again, they're going to let it expire. No immediate dangers. Still keeping a close eye on it, though. All right, folks, we're still keeping our eye on this. If you're just joining us here early this morning, just waking up, we did get a tornado warning issued for portions of Roberts and Gray County early this morning. Saw a little bit of an area of rotation associated with it. Again, right around the Hoover area, especially, folks. But again, it does look like these storms are weakening. Not a very apparent rotation on radar anymore, but they're going to let this tornado warning expire here, but likely going to let it run out until 5:15 a.m. when it was issued for. Let me click that on for you right now. So right there for portions of Roberts and, again, portions of Gray County. Now, folks in Miami, you're not in this, and again, they're going to let this expire, so that's good news. But over the course of the past couple of scans here, let me put this into motion for you, and we'll kind of just talk a little bit more about this for the next couple of minutes. Does look like over those past few scans that these line of storms have shrunk. Looks like they've weakened here just a little bit. But if you're just joining us again, we've gotten some reports about 1 to 1.5 inch size hail right around the Pampa area early this morning. But again, it does look like these storms are starting to choke themselves out here just a little bit, lose a lot of their strength is what we like to call it. But this severe thunderstorm warning, this box right here for portions of Roberts, Gray, Hemphill, and even the northwest corner of Wheeler County. Again, this was associated with about lime-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's what that was issued for until about 5:30 this morning. But again, it does look like it's weakening quite a bit. And then this line of storms that initiate along that front or boundary were associated with about ping-pong ball-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds north of the Panhandle area. Does look like north of White Deer. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this as we go throughout the next about 15 minutes here, folks. But let's pause this right here. Once that tornado warning does expire, we'll likely get you back to the show here and kind of go through the show and bring you more updates on these storms as we go throughout the morning hours. Does look like they expired the tornado warning, folks. Okay, so with that, we're likely going to bring you back to the show here, folks. And we're going to be continuing to bring you updates throughout the morning hours here. Just make sure you're staying up to date and make sure you have a way to receive any of those severe weather alerts, but we got you covered here. Why don't we get them over to Daybreak here?